So I'll just open it up for everybody. This is our monthly Gratitude Soirée. And we started these about last December. And it was Eileen's amazing idea of, how do we bring people together every month to celebrate gratitude, to find different speakers and different people from all over the world who have made such an impact over their lives on all of us and on different communities and in different parts of the world. And so Eileen is amazing and finds brilliant, powerful speakers to come on here and share their stories with us and share gratitude with all of us. So with that said, and without further ado, I'll bring Eileen on and she'll do the rest of the opening for today.
Thank you so much, Eric. You're a really awesome co-host and we all love you. And welcome everybody. Welcome family and friends. We are just so excited that you are here with us. This is, as Eric has mentioned, we've been doing this for several months, and this is our 9th Gratitude Soiree. And this is going to be a very beautiful evening, an evening of reflection, an evening of connection, and an evening of transformation. My name is Eileen from the He's On Foundation, and we're really here to promote and create opportunities to improve people's lives. And the Gratitude Soiree is one of our initiatives. And thank you so much for joining us, because as Eric had mentioned, that we just wanted to start conversations and introducing visionaries into this gratitude circle so that we could have meaningful conversations such as what we're going to have this evening with Michelle. And I just really feel that this is going to be a very magical evening. And before we start our conversation with her, I thought what I would like to do, and if it's okay with you, is to open up our gratitude circle and just observe our breathing. And in this moment, I invite you to go within to a place of inner peace and quiet and let go of our thoughts and observe our breath. You can close your eyes. With each inhalation and exhalation, allow yourself to relax and to be more relaxed and to be more comfortable and to be more, as we share this space, let us set our intentions together. Let our intentions be like seeds that we plant tonight, the seeds of gratitude that will blossom into our stories of healing, our stories of connection, and our stories of transformation. Let's continue to breathe gently and collectively connect our energy. Thank you. Now, with our intention set and our hearts aligned, we invite you to embrace this evening and consider it as a safe space of growth, a safe space of understanding, and a safe space of celebration. We have a very exciting conversation ahead of us with Michelle Blechner. She is a spiritual leader who specializes in family constellations, and it is truly an honor to have her here. I've experienced her magic. I call it magic, Michelle. And I've experienced it in several locations, different places, and in different venues, intimate gatherings such as this, as well as large events where there are thousands of people, where I met her first. And she truly is remarkable. Her heartfelt mission is to help people heal themselves, overcome their limitation, and she helps guide them towards the feeling of ultimate freedom. So she really is a very special woman. And so without further ado, I would love to introduce Michelle Blechner to our Gratitude Circle. And welcome, Michelle. Thank you so much for saying yes.
Thank you, Eileen. Thank you, Eric. And I'm very pleased and grateful to be here with you tonight and honored. And I always like this kind of initiative. I love people that are meeting in small and large group, because small groups are very important in life. They are the one that really kind of expand the large group, because they're very committed and they are dedicated to what they do. And gratitude is an attitude. So the attitude is to go really forward and expand in any kind of well-doing and vision. And so I'm very, very happy to be here. Thank you. I don't hear you now. Don't know what's going on. I cannot hear you now. Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, now I hear you. Yes, I could not hear you.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So we have gathered a couple of questions for you, and also for our circle. Please type in any of the questions that you might have for her, or raise your hand, and we'll ask Michelle. But my question is, I was wondering if you can tell us your story, your journey, and tell us a little bit about.
Wow, we need more than an hour for that. You are ready to spend a week? I mean, look, first I have to say that a few months ago, a couple of months ago, I turned 80. So 80 years is a long time in the long story. But to summarize, I was born in France during World War II, and I have to be very grateful because even though my family was very harmed by the war, in many ways, in a lot of different ways, I am here to tell the story, and I survived. So it's already a great reason to be grateful. And I always feel that when we kind of feel it, when we kind of meditate on it, we see that it's certainly a reason that some people are here to tell the story, you see. And so my family was very harmed and touched by it, but never anyone was going into self-pity or going into negativity. I was surrounded by people that appreciated life, valued it, and valued the experience as experiences. And so I was always surrounded by joy. My father was in concentration camp. He was in Auschwitz, and he came back, and yet he was one of the most joyous people I knew, because he was grateful to have survived. And in a way, he was grateful to have lived the experiences, because he would not have believed if anybody had told him. So you see, you have to have an attitude to counteract the adversity in life. So he was a really great teacher for me, I have to say that. And so, like I say, I was born in France, and I was, I was born in Marseille. I lived in Paris for a few years, and I had a degree in psychology, so I chose business. But interestingly enough, that has served me all my life. And when I was around 40-year-old, I had some psychic experience, and I realized that it was much more than meet the eyes. And I start really a self-discovery, and to understand what was behind. And as we all know, we can be grateful for that. The more we seek, the more we find. And admitting that we don't know bring us closer to the divine, because the more you know that you don't know, the closer you are. So when in the discovery, it was very interesting for me. And I worked with a lot of teachers. As a matter of fact, we met at an event of Tony Robbins. And what was interesting is that when I was 40, I saw Tony for the first time. He was 25, and I thought he was really having a great future. And so it was interesting because I work with teachers that were already very known, and with newcomers. And that was great for me, because even though I was in business, I was interested by everything that was different and create visions, visionaries. and also people that will bring the vision to life, because it's okay to have a vision, but bringing it to life is another story. And so that was a great experience. And little did I know, even though I was doing business, something else was waiting for me, because this is the way it happened when we trust that everything happens for the best. And we talk about gratitude. I'm always grateful to see myself as a pronoiac, ones that believe that the universe conspire for me to be happy, you see, and which is the opposite of a paranoiac. And in that attitude, that I really discover very early in my journey, I have to be sincere. It really worked out, and that was great for me. And so it was kind of on the side for me, doing business and being efficient in what I was doing. It came the time, and this was in 2008, to abbreviate, where the economy went south and I had to close my business. And I decided that, and it was not an easy decision, because I was, 66 at the time, and 65, I decided to go into coaching, which I've been doing benevolently for the past 65 years. So I did. And immediately after I started, I was exposed to Family Constellation. And I don't know if your audience is aware of. Anyone has had the experience of constellation before? It'd be interesting to ask. Yes, Laura and Carrie. I cannot see really, because it's very small for me on the screen, since it's not in gallery view. Claire, Claire? Yeah, Claire and Laura, you had experience of constellation. Anybody else? Let me see if I have a bigger view.
Leslie?
Yes, Leslie. So Leslie, Claire, and okay, and Laurie, and of course you, Eileen. Yes,
and I think Cloud as well.
Yes.
Cloud, where is Cloud? Cloud. Okay, yes. Okay, so you had experience. So it's practically half of the group here. So it's good, because 50% is amazing, and I think that this is becoming more spread out. And I have to say that thanks to Tony, I have become one of the most, and with the most enlarged community, and also because we have to be grateful that in difficult situations like the pandemic, we had to take responsibility, being able to respond and directly go to a different venue. And I was one of the first in the constellation community to go to Zoom, because I had organized a very widespread international community under the name of Mosaic the Movement. And we had scheduled different teachers to come to Miami, where I was at the time. And because of the pandemic, we had to shift immediately into Zoom situation. So we always have to be grateful when in a challenge we find solution and we implement them immediately. And I'm very grateful to it, because constellation on Zoom have proven to be very efficient, different, and interesting, because you go into the unknown, and in the unknown there is potentiality. So I'm very grateful to that. So this is what I did. I shift into Zoom, and so in every step of the way, for me, constellation has been another stepping stone, because I kind of widen. And going from family constellation, which is the first system where we're all born in, which is certainly the most important, because we are born with it and we carry it all our life, and we die with it, and it's for eternity. But also a lot of different systems that are, that we create or we participate along the road. And that has brought me to study systemic approach, organizational, business constellation. And that was an amazing discovery for me as well. So I expanded in the work, and constellation, which now is much more known, is used as well in expanding the knowledge about the system that we create and we participate as human being for the relationship with other human beings, but also what's happening in business, and automatically create a better arena to function in the business world. Yeah. So this is a little summary of my life. I kind of reinvented myself at a late age, and I'm very happy. And I'm sure that whatever happened that was negative brought me to that place. So I'm very grateful to every experience, even the ones that did not feel so great. And I will always encourage people to look at the other side of the street, to see the, what is it that I can appreciate in that situation and look forward to better my well-being. Yes. Okay. Oh, now I cannot hear you again.
Sorry. Okay, now I
Okay.
muted myself. Sorry. Thank you so much. Somebody had asked if by any chance you would be able to elaborate more on the process and maybe have an experience during the gratitude soiree this evening.
It's kind of short to do that, okay, because already we're practically in the end of the half hour, but we can do something, maybe a little movement. What I will say about constellation for the process, that it brings to the surface the event that shows us things that we did not know about ourselves, or things that we knew but we did not see it that way. Why is it important? Because we carry our lineage, we carry it in our DNA, okay? But more than that, there is, I don't know if anybody has heard about epigenetics, okay, which is a term that has becoming very familiar. It's not just the genes, it's the epigenetics, is whatever has surrounded us, culturally, socially, with people that have been important in the life of our ancestors, in events that have been important in the life of our ancestors. All those things that sometimes we carry without knowing, or we know, but we don't see how they impact us, you see. So this is what constellation brings to the surface. And constellation is not a therapy, it's a therapeutic philosophy. And it was developed by a German gentleman. His name was Bertelinger. And actually he passed away, it's going to be 3 years. And he was German, was born before the war. He was an adult during the war, and he saw the damage that that had done socially. And I can say that even today we can see the repercussion of it. And that is the reason for me I have decided, and I will invite all of you here and whoever you want to participate to it. I'm organizing a very important conversation about reconciliation, because family constellation bring back what has been separated, bring back what has been excluded, also what we have rejected. You see, what happened in systems is that when something bad happens, we have a tendency to cover up. Like, we don't talk to grandma about the child that she lost in the war because it's too painful. We don't invite Uncle Jules to Thanksgiving because he makes a fool of himself and he drinks too much, and he's not socially acceptable, you see. So because it's shameful. So you see, because it's painful, because it's shameful, because it's not in the norm, we reject things, or we don't talk about people that have betrayed us or that we have betrayed, whatever it is, in one way or another. People separate in a couple, and what happens is that then they tell their children, each one of them, the father as well as the mother, that the other parent is a piece of crap. You see? So what's happened? Automatically, the child, who is half of the mother, half the father, feels like a piece of crap himself, you see? And we don't realize that we do all that. And that is the opportunity with constellation to see the damage that it does, and automatically all those unresolved trauma, unresolved difficulties, we have an opportunity to heal them, you see? It's the beginning. It's showing you what's going on. And then we can work on. This is what it's all about. I don't know if that satisfies you as a presentation, as a short, really a short presentation of what constellation is, but it is just that. It's because we are loyal. We're loyal to the system. So we cover up. And what happened is that generation after generation, if we don't heal the issue, what's going on is that someone is going to unconsciously volunteer to repeat and to be, suffering from the repetition. These patterns, you see, we see patterns of triangulation, patterns of parentification, patterns of redoing what other people have done and hasn't been resolved. Is that something that everybody understand? You see, it's a little challenging because I don't see reaction of people of what we are talking about. But does that anyone has question about that? The unconscious loyalty that we carry.
Michelle, when you asked that question, most of us, understood, and we are in agreement of what you had said.
Yeah, absolutely. It's important because automatically we can do something about acknowledging what is the beginning of healing, is the first step to take. If we don't acknowledge, if we cover up, we cannot heal.
Yes.
And that is very important to be aware of it, I went to a Tony event with my mom and dad, and what happened? I cannot read. If you can read for me, please.
Oh, sure. Eric had shared that he also went to a Tony event and with his parents, and it was a wonderful experience, and it really helped with his relationship with his brother.
Yes. And what happened is that at this Tony event that Eileen is mentioning, I was a speaker and I did constellation. I did constellation on stage. And it was amazing because it was like, 500 people there. And only 12 people had heard about constellation at the time. And 6 of them had done it. And 3 of them out of the 6 had done it with me. So it was very interesting to see. And since that, we really evolved because I worked with a lot of people, and it's many ways of looking at constellation, because there is a series in Netflix that is very good about that, which is called Another Self. I would always recommend a great book by one of my teachers, Mark Wallen, which is It Did Not Start With You, because it doesn't start with us, but it can end with us. And that is what is important. Okay, Laura? Okay. Okay, so you had the experience, Laura, and you could see how impactful it is when we do an intervention with someone. It's impactful because all of a sudden you are exposed to things that either you did not know, or either you knew, but you never knew the repercussion of it. You see, like, for example, I'm telling you my goal to do this reconciliation conversation came from the fact that as a Jewish woman, being having in my family people that have suffered from the Holocaust, from Nazi, okay. what happened is that I am exposed to young generations of Germans, okay, that had their great grandfather or their grandfather in the army or in the Nazi, whatever it is, that are suffering an unconscious guilt, and it's impacting their life. I'm taking this example because it's the one that I know the best. But we have that in all genocides and slavery and all the people that are not getting along. And this creates what we see in the world, which is a more challenging platform to live our dreams, okay? A lot of things are not to our liking, and we have to understand that we participate to that. So we have to be grateful when we have the consciousness of doing something about, and see that we are all connected. We are all connected. We are all human. There is no, we all have polarities. This is what we live in, a universe of polarity. There is dark and light. There is love and indifference. There is the perpetrator and the victim. There is, black and white. It's a polarity. What is important is to go beyond, okay? I always quote and love the Rumi, the poet, that say, beyond the realm of right and wrong, there is a field. I meet you there, because it's where there is no judgment. And when we can let go of judgment, when we can be, looking at humanity and see everything beautiful and be grateful to be alive and grateful to enjoy and grateful all the things that we can be grateful about, and even more, I'm going to go a little more. I do a lot of gratitude work, but I also do appreciation, because when we are grateful, we say thank you for something that we get one way or another. But appreciation is just to appreciate something that we can enjoy without having to buy it or to do anything about, like the sunrise or the sunset or walking on a beach or being in a field, all those kind of things that seem so easy and we take for granted. If we start making sure that we verbalize this appreciation, it changes everything. You're right. Little act of kindness, okay? Little smile that you give. You have to, you see people driving their car and they're like this. If all of a sudden you meet somebody and you smile and a little gesture, it changes immediately the quality of the, of the environment. Absolutely. So this is what it's all about. And gratitude, appreciation are top of the list to improve our life. Absolutely. Yes.
I agree. I have a question for you.
Sure.
If you were to ask your younger self, if you were to give an advice to your younger self, what would it be?
If I gave an advice to my younger self, I will say enjoy the beauty of being young and play with your inner child and be the smile that create more joy for you and around.
As a continuation, what brings you joy? What brings you bliss right now?
Okay, first of all, I love what I do. Okay, I love my work. And for me, it's a source of appreciation, gratitude. And believe me, and you saw me, so you see that I have, difficulty of mobility but I love what I do. And it's important for me at this stage of my life, work as a big place. But of course, before and with all priority is my family, okay? My grandchildren that bring me a lot of joy, and for me, it's amazing to see them growing up. And the teenager, my grandson is 16, my granddaughter is 14. And it's a joy to spend time with them and to see them growing in such wonderful, human being. And it's interesting because they love what I do. They understand and they appreciate and ask questions, and they love the fact that I am active and interested by things, that keep me busy. So that is great, of course. I mean, you met my daughter. I have a good relationship with her and her husband, which I know since he was a kid. So it makes it easy. And so I really love my family and my work. Those are my two, and of course my friends, my clients. I spend a lot of time. It's interesting. I just spent the weekend working with a teacher and a constellator that I had worked with a few years ago, and I appreciate. And actually, I invited him to come to this conversation that I'm going to have on the reconciliation, because he is German, and it's very interesting to bring people that have suffered from one side or the other. And I was there with two of my clients that become my friend. One of them, actually is part of the plat, and he became, because of seeing me in the event in Mexico, he came and trained with me intensively, and he became a constellator. And he came with me to this workshop. Actually, I put him on the plane a few hours ago, and he came from Seattle, and another client friend that came from Miami, and we went together. We drove there because he was upstate New York, in the middle of nowhere, and I was so grateful that they came with me, because the terrain was a little tough for me to manage. So I was happy and grateful that I had help in that department. So my work is very important for me. My teaching, my facilitating, my is interesting, and keep my mind busy, and keep my sanity. Yes, of course. Yeah.
Yes.
And actually, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say that I sense your love for your work, for helping people and finding clarity.
And I'm going to correct yourself, if I may,
Yes.
Eileen, because
Please
I do not pretend to help people. I'm a facilitator. I facilitate the fact that they help each other with my guidance. Okay? I am a bridge, nothing more than a bridge. And I think that anyone that is in that type of service work is only a bridge. Because if they're not ready to go on the other side, it's not going to happen. You got to put your work into it. Nobody is, even if people have to heal their inner child, then they have to become an adult and do the work, because you cannot carry them, you see?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for correcting, because each one of us are links. We are bridges to somebody who needs it for this season or for this moment.
Exactly. We cannot pretend to do the work for somebody else. Everybody is responsible for their own. But yes, we can facilitate, because sometimes we have, we have given more time to understand the way to facilitate things, the logistics. And yes, there is some in constellation. There is 20% technique, 80% is the relationship that we have with the field, is intuition, is a relationship that we have with the universe, God, Mickey Mouse, whatever you call it, source, soul, that ability to navigate. But what is important is 500% practice, like in everything in life. So that is the equation. And to give it your time, to give it your dedication. And I have news for you. At my stage of life, I have aha moment all the time. Because when you open up the door, then it's amazing the opportunity you have to learn. The amazing, about yourself, about your environment, and how to deal with anything in life. Absolutely. Yeah. Relationships, health, finances, it's all about that, as you know. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about advices, what would be the best advice that you were ever given that you still, use?
Interesting. The best advice that I've been given. I think it is 40 years ago when I first met with someone, whatever you want to call it, that is called Abraham Hicks. I don't know if anybody has knows that it's a stream of consciousness that is channeled by a woman named Esther Hicks. And at the time, she was working with her husband, Jerry. He passed away a few years ago. I was privileged to be exposed to them 40 years ago. And for me, it was, yes, Cloud, you were. For me, it was incredible because all of a sudden, I realized that I was a creator, that I was not, I was not having a fate that I had to really live through, but I was a creator, that I could change things, that I could take chances and automatically make choices, take chances, and automatically experience change. And then I found my way to the teaching of universal law, because this is the way it works. I mean, we are creators. We create our experience, And so from there, I work with a lot of teachers, and I saw that when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And as I said before, I became a pronoiac. And I had glimmers of what it was when we create, when we set up intention. But this is where gratitude and appreciation comes into the equation, because what is important is to do that when we raise our vibrational frequency to the point that automatically I'm sorry, what's that word again that you become? I'm sorry, Eric.
You keep there's a word that you've mentioned twice now that I didn't know if it was a French word or
no, pronoiac.
Yeah.
Okay, pronoiac is a word, is in a dictionary. It is the opposite of paranoiac. The pronoiac is the one that believes that the universe conspires for him or her, you see? Because the paranoiac feels that everything and everybody is against. That is the person that believes that the universe conspires for. Okay?
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you. That's great.
Yes. Yeah. So that is very important, because when you know that, and as I was talking about vibrational frequency, I'm sure that you are all aware that we are energy, okay? And as energy, we vibrate. But as we vibrate, we attract. And when we attract, okay, we attract what we put out. You put another too. Very good. And when you affirm it, when you are really, persuade yourself that you are, believe me, it shows. It shows in everything that you accomplish, in everything that you encounter, and it's beautiful. So what happened is that this was great. It was great. Yes, I am. And I am is important because I am is the name of God, I am what I am. So when you say I am, you affirm. And actually, I have a conversation every Monday morning for people that want to start their week on the boost a little bit. And it was channeled to me. It's called You Are, I Am, which is Universal Revolutionary Integrative Method. But when you hear it, it say you are, I am. And I am is the name of God. So we are God. We are divine, you see. And when we decide, when we intend to really be at the right time, at the right place, with the right people, doing the right thing, effortlessly with grace and in harmony with the divine, then this is what happens. It cannot be any other way. And what is interesting is that as I emphasize my incredible gratitude for being exposed to universal law 40 years ago, I have to say that when I met with Constellation, for me, it was my missing link. And actually, my website is michelleblechner.com. or Michelle Blechner, or The Missing Link by Michelle Blechner, okay? Because it was my missing link for one reason, is that you can deal with what you know, but you cannot deal with what you don't know. And constellation give you the opportunity to reveal what you don't know, because automatically what you don't know is unconscious, but it is kind of stored in one of your unconscious warehouses, you see, and automatically it is damaging. So when we have the possibility to bring it to the surface, we take it out from the warehouse and we can really eventually heal it. Unfortunately, in the universe where we work, most of the time when you present some symptoms that see that, you're not completely happy, what they give you is medicine. They give you medication. They kind of dull it, but it doesn't work. What is important is to really bring it to the surface and say thank you, and then give it back. Give it back behind you to the ancestor, because that's where our resources are. The people that have suffered, where we come from, because we all have them, they rejoice when we can really live better. Because we are the success. We are the success of our parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, 7 generations behind. You see, we are their success.
I have a question. Thank you so much for that. That is so beautiful and well said. It's a bit heavy for me. I want to be just open in our safe space. It's heavy in a sense that, we each have our own, I don't want to call it trauma, but experiences in the childhood. And sometimes what happened is that, we talk about staying in the present or being in the moment. But when you go through this work, you go back in the past. And sometimes you have or for me, I should just say, there's a lot of replays. And then sometimes it's kind of hard to bring myself back into the present.
This is why it's important to be facilitated by someone that has the training to bring you there and back. And it's not a question of going back there. It's just acknowledging. It's not acknowledging. We don't ask to relive it. Oh, in a way, what you do is you acknowledge it, so you don't have to live it again. You can leave it behind. I'm playing with the word with my French accent, between live and leave. But this is what it's all about. You don't have to live it. You just leave it, you see? And you can only leave it behind if you acknowledge it. Otherwise, you can't, you see? And you stay there. So
absolutely.
This is what I'm talking about. The ability to really let go of what doesn't serve anymore. Yes, acknowledging is important, is a first principle in systemic. Acknowledging what is. Yeah, absolutely. And seeing, and then you can leave it behind. Because how can you leave it if you don't acknowledge it? You cover up. It's like putting, and you know what happened? If you put a cover on the, on the, what you call the pot, where you boil water, at one point, it explodes. Yeah. So
thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you have any questions for Michelle, or does somebody want? Oh, Claire.
Yes, I really appreciate this evening. Sorry, I'm not a good English necessarily, but I very appreciate you be there, Michelle. I would like to know more about you. And I'm a facilitator too with people, but it's not longer than you. And I work often, what I see often is with the people, the young people with a substance abuse or something like that, and I see something often from their parents, and we know then it's coming from before, and often it's hard to them to just to let go also, and just how you work with them, because it's when people are coming overwhelmed, what are you doing with the emotion of overwhelming?
It's you see, those patterns of addiction, it's entanglement, entanglement to the past. And, what is important is to um, gently showing them that it's not theirs, that they are doing it for someone else, you see. So it's a process. I mean, you say that you're facilitator of constellation or a different type of modality? Constellation.
Yes, and I'm used also somatic experiencing because
Yeah.
I have it too, and with the transforming experiencing brain. So I'm working with the early trauma, and yes,
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, you know, it's an accompaniment in a way, you know, because yes, you're dealing with people that are very unstable,
yes,
and yeah, and it's important to you represent the stability for them. We talk about bridge. It's important to be a very solid bridge for people to go on the other side, you see.
yeah,
But all you do is accompanying them. And
yes,
you see that the more we work on ourselves, the more we feel the solidity of our presence with them, the more it's valuable, for sure. And very often, rather than work with a young person, like you say, like a teenager or something, you work with the parent for the child. You cannot do the other way around, okay? Because there is hierarchy and there is a law of order. You see, constellation is order and love, okay? But this is what life is. It's important to know the role. So you consolidate the parents to be able to deal with the child, dead or alive, but you consolidate the relationship with the parents, because very often it comes from the fact that the disconnection in a family system, you know, is putting the young in a difficult situation, you see. Sometimes separation with parents. You know, we say the one that leave the children, but very often what's happening is that the ones that stay, the parents that stay, is bitter and happy. And you know, when one parent really destroy the other parent, what they don't realize is that destroy the kid.
yeah,
You see, and you know that, so you have to work in reconciliating the parents at a different level. It doesn't mean to have dinner with them or whatever, but you see, it goes a long way if rather to say, oh, your father is a bastard, he did not send the check for the alimony, okay, or the child support. You say, oh, when I look in your eyes, I see your father and I understand how I fall in love. I fell in love with him. This makes the whole difference, you see?
yeah. Okay, with the eyes of the kids, you can see the father or the other partner.
Anything that you can put that is positive, that is the same that the parent, okay, that you really have separated from, and say, oh, when you say, because what happened in family, separated parents or whatever, they say, oh, just like your father, you know, or just like your mother, you know, terrible, you know, you do that. Just instead, if you say, when you smile like this, I know why I fell in love with your mother,
I love this.
with your father. Yeah. Because then you bring to the kid something that they can appreciate, and they can appreciate about themselves, because you know this is who they are. They have after one. And when each parent is really destroying the other ones, the child get destroyed.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Michelle. You have been really wonderful. There's so many words that, you know, I want to summarize, but the main ones that you remind us is to be kind to ourselves.
Sure.
Acknowledge.
Acknowledge what is, yes. And in a way, let go of the unconscious loyalty that we have to what is been detrimental in our life, because it's all about loyalty. It's what we are. The guy that I work with this weekend is the author of a very good book that say, even if it cost me my life, to show that children sometimes will die just to satisfy the needs of the system, and needs come from a place of lack, as we all know. So listen, thank you for inviting me. It was a pleasure to talk to you. I mean, I wish we had more time. If anyone is interested, actually, I have a constellation this week on Friday from 12 to 3, the what you call it, Eastern time. Okay, it's something that I have once a month on Friday. I also have a constellation one evening Eastern time on Wednesday, but it will be the next when it will be in September. But I also, if anybody is from Florida, I'll be in Miami next week. If you are interested, you can always reach out to me and be happy, be grateful, enjoy your life.
Thank you so much. I will make sure to include all your information as I send out a replay
Thank you.
of this
Yes,
event.
I'm always available to talk. If you have question or anything, don't hesitate, call me. I love what I do, so I'm always there to give some information. Okay?
Thank
Good.
you. So
My
thank you
pleasure.
everybody
Thank
for
you.
joining too.
Thank you for having me.
As we conclude our gratitude soiree, I was wondering as we entered in our circle, if we could also close it out with our eyes closed and just with our breath, just take a really deep inhalation and just like honor the moment that we had together and allow us to just inhale the wisdom that Michelle had shared with us and appreciate the connections that we just formed and to ignite and acknowledge that that we are loved. And as you exhale, I hope that you carry this newfound knowledge or information of gratitude and the possibilities in your days ahead. And we look forward to seeing you again next month. We will have it on Tuesday, Saturday, September 12th. And I really appreciate you and thank you guys for being here and joining our circle, our gratitude circle. And have a wonderful evening wherever you may be. And hope to see you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Eric.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cloud and Laura and Julie.
Nice meeting you guys, and nice seeing you, Eileen. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great
Bye,
evening,
everyone.
everybody.
Good
Bye.
job, Aileen.